Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know, first, Tenways' new €1,999 e-bike disrupts the European market with a radical folding design but hides a 22-kilogram weight problem. We'll explore how this engineering trade-off between advanced features and unexpected weight could impact future compact e-bike design. Second, Uber targets $1 billion in new bookings with a massive European expansion using regulatory arbitrage to challenge entrenched local delivery champions. We'll analyse why this dual strategy is a turning point and how it could affect competitive dynamics in Europe's food delivery market. Third, a gaming laptop price war sees Acer's 16-inch model undercut the smaller 14-inch Asus, despite both packing the elite RTX 5070 Ti. In this episode, we'll break down this clash of design philosophies and what it signals for the future of high-performance portable gaming. Fourth, Pinterest stock craters 12% despite soaring to 619 million users as low ad revenue signals it's losing the AI ad tech race. So we'll discuss why this disconnect between user growth and monetization matters and what it means for platforms competing against AI-driven giants. Fifth, Sony shadow drops a new God of War prequel and confirms a Trilogy remake, bringing back the original voice actor in a stand against AI. This discussion will reveal how this move connects to the debate on AI in creative industries and what it means for digital authenticity. Let's start with a single statistic that might just change your perspective on the e-bike market. A new player has launched a bike that costs nearly €700 less than its average competitor. And this isn't just about price. The bike, the Tenways CGO Compact, has a design that literally twists. The handlebar turns 90 degrees and the pedals fold, allowing it to go completely flat against a wall or in the back of a car. It's a radical solution for urban living. For its €1,999 price tag, it packs a 100-kilometre range and a maintenance-free Gates carbon belt drive. Now, that belt drive is more significant than it sounds. It's often paired with a single-speed setup, which is fantastic for simplicity and low maintenance in flat cities. But the motor on this bike has about 45 Newton meters of torque. To put that in context, experts say you really want at least 60 or 70 Newton meters to climb hills effectively. So this setup is a deliberate choice for urban commuters on mostly level ground. Tenways, a Chinese company headquartered in the Netherlands, is clearly using aggressive pricing and sleek design to make a name for itself, backed by over 1,500 shops across Europe. So how are they pulling this off? It's actually part of a massive trend. Chinese e-bike manufacturers are disrupting the entire European market by leveraging more cost-effective production and sometimes selling directly to consumers. This allows them to offer high-spec bikes at prices that traditional European brands struggle to match. And this is crucial because the European e-bike market itself is exploding, with registrations jumping 36% year on year, fueled by government subsidies. Tenways is riding that wave, and they're riding it hard. But that's not the whole picture. The real turning point is a secret. The CGO Compact isn't advertising in its name. It's heavy, really heavy. At nearly 22 kilograms, or almost 49 pounds, this compact bike weighs more than many full-size e-bikes. You'd naturally expect a compact bike to be lighter, but from an engineering perspective, there's a clear reason for the extra weight. Those clever folding and twisting mechanisms, like the rotating handlebar, often require extra reinforcements in the frame to make sure they're durable. Those reinforcements add weight. On top of that, smaller 20-inch wheels can sometimes lead to a less stable ride. So manufacturers might use a beefier frame or fatter, heavier tyres to compensate and improve comfort. It's a classic engineering trade-off. You gain portability in one way, but you pay for it in pounds and kilograms. That makes it a challenge to carry up apartment stairs or onto a train, and that train part is more important than you might think. We have this idea of seamless European travel, but the reality is very different. A recent report from the European Cyclists Federation found that over 64% of high-speed train operators in Europe don't provide any bicycle carriage at all. So even if you can lift this heavy bike, you might not even be allowed to bring it on board, which undermines the whole point of a compact bike for mixed mode commuting. The battle line is drawn. Tenways is betting that a clever, space-saving design and a dramatically lower price point are enough to make buyers overlook a significant weight penalty. Speaking of aggressive strategies to shake up a market, Uber's global head of delivery just put the entire food delivery industry on notice declaring it's time to raise the bar, shake things up, and deliver better value across the category. This isn't just talk. The company is launching a massive European expansion with a very specific target in mind, an additional $1 billion in gross bookings over the next 3 years. This is a direct shot fired in the war for the multi-billion euro food delivery market. The battleground is set across 7 new countries. Uber is rolling out services in the Czech Republic, Greece, Romania, Austria, Denmark, Finland, and Norway. Now, the choice of these 7 countries is no accident. It's a savvy move that some experts call regulatory arbitrage. The key insight here is that countries like the Czech Republic, Greece, and Romania have recently implemented labour reforms that offer more flexibility for gig economy platforms, making it cheaper for Uber to operate. It's a strategic choice to expand where the rules are favourable, especially when you remember that Uber actually had to pull its ride-hailing service out of Denmark back in 2017 because of their strict taxi laws. They are picking their battles very, very carefully. This isn't a test run. It is a full-scale invasion into new territory, a coordinated push to seize market share across the continent. Of course, this is not empty territory. Uber is walking into markets with powerful, established local champions. In the Czech Republic, they'll be fighting Dame Jidlo, which already serves 6,000 restaurants. In Greece, a company called eFood is dominant, and in Romania, the market leader is Glovo, which holds a massive 43% of the market. So when we say invasion, we mean a head-to-head clash with entrenched rivals on their home turf. But the strategy goes deeper. This major expansion comes right after Uber agreed to acquire the delivery arm of Turkey's Getir. Believe it or not, Getir was the very company that pioneered the whole rapid grocery delivery model. At its peak in 2022, Getir was valued at nearly $12 billion before it had to pull back from international markets. By acquiring its Turkish operations, Uber isn't just buying a competitor, it's absorbing its playbook and strengthening its position in a key strategic country that bridges the Middle East and Europe. This reveals a two-pronged attack: expand into new regions while simultaneously absorbing the operations of competitors in existing ones. This isn't just growth, it's a calculated offensive. By launching in new territories while also acquiring parts of its competition, Uber is signaling a clear and aggressive strategy to dominate the European food delivery market. It's a complex, continent-wide chess game, and Uber just made a very bold move. From a war for delivery dominance to a price war in the tech world, a battle has just erupted between 2 giants, and the result is a deal that almost doesn't make sense. The bigger machine is now the cheaper one. So, the thing is, this isn't just a random sale. These aggressive discounts are a strategic move happening right after the big CES tech conference as retailers try to clear out inventory for new models. But there's another layer of urgency here. Reports from the supply chain show that memory costs are surging, and both Asus and Acer have indicated they'll have to pass those costs on to consumers very soon. These prices might be the lowest we see for a long time. Best Buy has just dropped massive discounts on brand new 2025 OLED gaming laptops from rivals Asus and Acer. And here's the knockout punch. The largest 16-inch Acer Predator Helios Neo 16S is currently selling for less than the more compact 14-inch Asus ROG Zephyrus G14. A smaller laptop costing more than a bigger one sounds backward, right? But it happens because packing elite-level performance into a smaller, more portable 14-inch chassis is an incredible engineering challenge. It requires advanced cooling and miniaturization that costs a lot of money to develop. There's a growing trend of gamers wanting power they can take anywhere, and they're willing to pay a premium for that portability. Let's talk numbers. The Asus Zephyrus G14, a premium machine, had its price slashed by $500, dropping from nearly $2,400 down to just under $1,900. But the Acer Predator Helios Neo 16S saw its price fall from $1,900 to an astonishing $1,470. This isn't a choice between a good laptop and a bad one. This is a battle of titans. Both of these machines are absolute monsters, packing the elite NVIDIA RTX 5070 Ti graphics card and a massive 32 gigabytes of RAM. They are explicitly built to handle demanding games for years to come. And when we say monsters, we mean it. That RTX 5070 Ti is a beast. Looking toward the future, it comes with 12 gigabytes of video RAM, or VRAM. For today's games, that's more than enough. But what most people might not realize is that as we look toward 2026 and beyond, with games using hyper-realistic ray tracing and advanced AI, that 12 gigabytes could become a bottleneck, especially at 4K resolution. So while it's future-focused, it's right on the edge of what ultra-high-end gaming will demand. The core conflict comes down to this. The Asus model features a super high-resolution 3K OLED screen and what is described as one of the fastest AMD processors available on any laptop. Let's pause on that OLED screen. The colors and contrast are absolutely stunning, but some people worry about burn-in, where static images can get permanently ghosted onto the screen. The good news is that manufacturers are tackling this head-on. Companies like MSI are now including software called OLED Care and even offering multi-year warranties that specifically cover burn-in, which is a huge step for giving gamers peace of mind. Now, about that AMD processor, the Ryzen AI 9HX 370, it absolutely earns its reputation in pure gaming scenarios. Thanks to AMD's own software, it can deliver significantly higher frame rates in certain games compared to its rivals. But Acer's larger machine fights back with a screen that has a blistering 240Hz refresh rate powered by a top-tier Intel Core Ultra 9 processor. Here's where the choice gets really interesting. While the AMD chip might be the king for pure gaming frame rates, this Intel Core Ultra 9 is the champion of multitasking. In benchmark tests measuring raw computational power across multiple cores, the Intel chip is significantly faster. So if you're a gamer who also streams or does heavy-duty work, the Intel processor has a real-world advantage in raw horsepower. This isn't a clearance sale on old technology. These are newly released, future-focused machines. The battle between Asus and Acer has put next-generation gaming power on sale for hundreds of dollars less than its debut price. This clash of design philosophies, portability versus raw power, and specialized gaming performance versus all-around processing muscle creates a unique moment for anyone looking to get their hands on next-generation tech. While some tech companies are fighting over hardware, others are in a brutal battle for advertising dollars, and that brings us to Pinterest. The company's stock just cratered 12% after its latest report sent a shockwave through the market. A while back, we walked through the internal turmoil around those cost cuts, and the company's AI-forward messaging today, that narrative is colliding with the hard numbers. This isn't just a feeling of struggle. The numbers tell a stark story. The key metric here is average revenue per user, or ARPU. When we place Pinterest's 14% revenue growth alongside Meta's, which grew over 26% in the same period, the disconnect becomes clear. Pinterest just isn't making as much money from each user as its rivals, and that's a huge red flag for Wall Street. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. You see, Pinterest is actually more popular than ever. Its global user base just exploded, jumping from 553 million to a staggering 619 million in 1 year. The platform's core product is clearly appealing to consumers. Interestingly enough, there's a key distinction about these users. Unlike on TikTok or Instagram, where you're just passively scrolling, people on Pinterest are in what's called a planning mindset. They are actively looking for things to buy. In fact, an incredible 85% of weekly users have actually made a purchase based on content they saw on Pinterest. So the users are there and they are ready to spend. So with more users than ever, why is the company's outlook so bleak? The forecast for next quarter's revenue came in below what analysts expected, sending Wall Street running for the exits. The company's aiming to attract more marketers with a new AI-powered ad suite, but the competition is fierce. We previously analysed how leadership framed recent cuts as part of an AI-forward push. The latest guide makes clear investors still want proof that AI turns into ARPU, not just headlines. This dynamic is so critical because it's not just a small-time rivalry, it's an AI arms race. Meta has its Advantage Plus tool, which already handles over a third of all retail ad spending on its platform. TikTok has its smart performance campaign automating everything. Pinterest's new suite, Performance Plus, has shown promise, but they are playing catch-up in a high-stakes game where AI is now the main event. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer to this story. The company recently tried to pivot, cutting about 15% of its workforce to reallocate resources for an AI-focused strategy, but investors weren't buying it, with some calling the move more defensive than strategic. Continuing our last discussion, that wave of layoffs also sparked a flashpoint inside the company. 2 engineers built a script to see who was being deactivated and were fired on the spot, raising the question of whether privacy was protecting people or protecting the company. That context is why today's weak outlook stings more. The costs and controversy have already been paid, but the payoff hasn't shown up yet. The context here is everything. When a company like Amazon announces layoffs to focus on AI, investors often see it as a powerful move, but for Pinterest, it was seen as weakness, largely because its business model is almost entirely dependent on digital ad revenue. So investors worried it was a reaction to financial pressure, not a confident pivot. This all comes as rivals like Snap and Reddit are reporting upbeat results from the holiday quarter, making Pinterest look like it's being left in the dust. The bottom line is a harsh reality. While millions of users are flocking to Pinterest for inspiration, the company is struggling to convince advertisers that those eyeballs are worth the investment. This is the core of the problem. Pinterest has to prove that its high-quality, ready-to-buy audience is more valuable than the sheer quantity of eyeballs offered elsewhere. That's the same open question we raised a while back, and after this latest guide and that 12% stock drop, it's only getting louder. Pinterest's struggle with its AI strategy brings up a fascinating contrast. In the creative world, the conversation around AI is very different, and Sony just made a powerful stand for human authenticity. The story begins with a decision that caught everyone by surprise. At the end of its State of Play event, Sony announced a brand new God of War game, and it is available on the PlayStation 5 right now. This strategy is called Shadow Drop, and it's a high-risk, high-reward move. Instead of a long marketing campaign, a company relies on the sheer power of its brand and the quality of the game to create an explosion of interest online. For a franchise as massive as God of War, this can be incredibly effective. This isn't the next massive blockbuster, but a total surprise, a 2D side-scrolling prequel called God of War Sons of Sparta. This is actually part of a larger trend in the gaming industry. Major studios are increasingly releasing 2D side-scrollers for their biggest 3D franchises. The logic is brilliant. These 2D games cost significantly less to make than a full 3D blockbuster, allowing studios to explore new stories and keep fans engaged without a massive financial gamble. It's a way to appeal to nostalgic players while also offering a more accessible entry point for new fans. The game dives into a canon story set during Kratos' youth, focusing on his brutal training alongside his brother Deimos. Developed in collaboration with Megacat Studios, this is a focused action platformer experience available for just $29.99. This partnership with a smaller specialized team like Megacat Studios is another key part of the strategy. You see big platform holders like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are all doing this. They partner with talented indie studios to expand their biggest franchises without tying up their main internal teams, enriching their game libraries with unique experiences. If that was just the appetizer, the main course was just being served. After dropping a new game out of nowhere, Sony also confirmed what fans have dreamed of for years. A full-scale remake of the original God of War trilogy is officially in development. This move follows a proven blueprint for success. Look at what Capcom has done with its Resident Evil remakes. They took beloved classics, rebuilt them from the ground up for modern hardware, and saw enormous success. By announcing a remake of the original trilogy while the new Norse saga is still fresh in our minds, Sony is strategically capitalizing on nostalgia. While the project is still in its very early stages, Sony delivered one piece of information that sent shockwaves through the community. They confirmed that T.C. Carson, the original voice of Kratos, is set to return for the remakes. The voice that defined the character for an entire generation is officially coming back. In an era of advancing AI voice synthesis, this decision is a powerful statement. The industry is grappling with the ethics and audience reception of using AI to replicate voices. We've already seen fan backlash when other companies tried to use AI without the original actor's consent. By bringing T.C. Carson back, Sony is prioritizing authenticity over cost efficiency. They are telling the world that the human performance, the soul that an actor brings to a character is irreplaceable. This is a massive two-pronged assault on the gaming world. Sony is not only expanding the God of War universe with an immediate prequel, but it's also betting big on nostalgia by completely rebuilding the trilogy that started it all. By bringing back the original voice actor, Sony is making a clear statement: the Ghost of Sparta's classic era is about to be reborn.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.